I'll admit it, that sometimes I just couldn't get it. But I had to be strong and just keep moving on. I lost my way so many times before, but I knew God would open doors if I kept holding on.
So let's get to know Eric today. For those who don't know me, my name is Eric Dixon. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm 33 years old. I own 5 businesses. I'm from Vernon, Texas, a small little country town on the other side of Wichita Falls. I didn't grow up with money. My family wasn't rich, but I had a good life, right? I got in an accident when I was 8. Got hit by a car. It messed me up bad. I was on life support. I was in a coma. I had to learn how to walk, talk, do normal things. But one thing I can say that happened then was I got a fresh start at life at an early age before I even knew it. I came back. I got out of the hospital. They said I wouldn't be on regular level in school. I went back and surpassed everything that they said I wouldn't do. So that showed me early on that I can do whatever I put my mind to. As I got older, I've always had a thing for working, wanting to make money, wanting to have my own money, in a sense, to where I didn't have to ask for money. So I started, cutting people's grass. I was a kid, so I don't know how to cut grass, but I can push a lawnmower. And I used to cut grass for like $10 or $15, the whole thing. Back then, things wasn't high as they is now. But what that showed me was how to go get it. And it wasn't about how much money I made, it was the point that I was making money. So when I got to high school, when I got to middle school, my grandma died. That was just my grandma. So for those who don't know, I was a grandpa's child. I used to do anything for him. But it was just him. So going to school, I would leave school early just to go make sure he was good and take care of him. So once he died, I was kind of lost. It's like I lost my best friend. I started getting in trouble in school. I got third party. I asked, how do I get out of school early? Because at that point I just wanted to get done with school and be on my own. So I got in the early graduation program, finished school early, and I had no clue on what I wanted to do. All I knew was I wanted to get out of school. I tried going to college, and it's just nothing but a bunch of debt. I realized that, a lot of people go to school for a long, long time, and then at the end of the day, they don't do nothing they went to school for. So I had to change that narrative. I had to find my own way. So I started looking at all the millionaires and billionaires, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. A lot of them guys didn't go to college. They dropped out. So then that's when my mind shifted. Most millionaires and billionaires, they didn't go to college. they went to college to learn what they needed to learn and started their own stuff. So I had to think, man, what can make me money? And I used to always see people in the apartments cutting grass. And I used to always tell myself, one day when I get older, I'm gonna work on a lawn service. I'm gonna cut grass. So I went and worked for somebody else's lawn service to learn the basics. And I told them when I got there, hey, I'm only here to learn the basics. And then I'm gonna go start my own. I don't want your customers, I'm gonna go get my own land, my own customers. So I learned what he did. I talked to the owner. He gave me the knowledge. You know, I took it while it was given, because a lot of people don't give knowledge because they don't want you to surpass them. But he was willing to give it, so I was willing to listen. So I did that a couple of months. I went and printed me some papers, did little papers and on the computer and printed them off. And I went to go pass them out on doors. But I knew he was charging $25. So if he was charging $25, somebody else had to be charging $25. So the only way that I can get in the game was to go lower than them. But I didn't want to go too low to where I was losing. So I said I'm gonna charge $20. Well, what I didn't know was I put all the papers in North Richland Hills, and all those houses are big. So when they started calling back to back, and I was going out there, I'm like, okay, well, it's gonna take me a little longer because these are big yards. So I had to figure out a system on how to knock out the big yards so I can get more done. And then I remember, well, when I worked for him, it was a 3-man crew. One person cut the front yard, one person cut the backyard, one person weed eated and blowed. So I created that system for myself, and I started working, and we were knocking them out. So then we moved from North Richland Hills to the southwest side of Fort Worth, started getting customers over there. And I just like, okay, well, these customers, they cancel. They say, oh, I don't have the money this week. So then I had to figure out, okay, well, I surpassed this part. So what's next? So then I said, okay, well, I'm gonna go try to get a contract. So I was looking around. Business was getting kind of slow because people were, flaking and don't want to pay. So I went to go get a job at a group home. And when I started working at the day hab, where they go during the daytime, they would take the clients out and let them cut the grass. So I'm like, okay, well, I work at the house in the morning. I take them to the day hab. Let's see if I can stay at the day hab and get more hours. So I started working at the day hab during the day, in the house in the morning, and in the evening. And then I was like, okay, well, I have a lawn service. Can I take them out to let them cut grass and teach them how to cut grass? They gave me the chance, and I knew then what I had up my sleeve. So the problem was the clients kept breaking the lawn equipment. So they were having to buy more. Then eventually, the executive director came to me and was like, well, Eric, you have a lawn service. We're going to give you 10 group homes in Fort Worth to start out. So, okay. So I was still working and cutting the grass. They liked my work ethic. They liked how I cut the grass. They liked how I left it neat and was always on time. So they said, okay, well, we're going to give you Irving in Arlington. So I would go to work during the morning, I would get off, and then I would go cut grass. Because at this point, I don't need to go to the day half no more. I would go cut grass, and then I would go back to work that evening. So after some months, he came back and he said, well, I'm going to give you Dallas, Duncanville, Mesquite, long story short, I went to go cut grass. You know, I did that. I was cutting the group homes. I had them all in North Texas. I just didn't get Denton, but I had everything else. And then they merged with, I forgot the name of that company, but it was an outsourced company that they used. And when they went with them, this was like 3 years later, they came back and they asked me, hey, you know, do you want to take over Waco, Killeen? So I was going to Waco and Killeen, and then they asked me if I wanted to take over San Antonio. So I'm not going to turn nothing down, because this is what I was waiting on. So Mondays, we would leave Monday morning, go to San Antonio, cut grass Monday and Tuesday, and then we'll come back down to Austin and Pflugersville Tuesday evening, Wednesday morning, then we'll come back to Waco Thursday and back to Dallas Thursday and Friday. Dallas Fort Worth Thursday and Friday. So I did that for another 3 to 4 years. Then COVID happened, and you know, things started getting a little funny. You know, half their people were sick. They couldn't afford to pay me on time, and you know, you never really notice how much money moves until you know, you're using your money, but you're not getting your other money on time. And that's why I was like, okay, I really don't make a lot, because I'm spending a lot, but I never really noticed it because I was always getting money at the same time. So I had to figure out some other way. What could I do to make more money, or the same amount of money, but get paid on time? And then I got into trucking. So I bought me a box truck, started my company, bought the insurance, and I jumped in head first with no plan. All I knew was I was trying to make more money. That's it. That's all. So I jumped in head first, and you know, you go to people, asking them if they will show you the game, and you know, they say yeah, but then it turned out, you know, people had their own agenda. I was with some people, and I was never getting no good loads. I always got what was left over. So then I started, you know, doing my research and trying to figure out how I can dispatch myself, or how can I, you know, do everything for myself. That way I know I get what I need to suffice in this business. So I took a little brokerage course on how to be a broker and how to negotiate. I took a course on how to dispatch. I took a course on, you know, the ins and outs, you know, what to expect. So, you know, we got in, well, I got in, and it was going good. And then, you know, I prepared for everything but for the truck to fail. And I was lost. I didn't know what to do. All I knew was I had to pay the insurance, and the truck note was due. So I had a decision to make. And in my mind, it didn't do me no justice to pay for the insurance if I didn't have a truck to use it with. So I made the tough decision to just fix my truck. And then that's when I learned you can do a million things for everybody in the world, but at the end of the day, if you don't look out for you, nobody else will. So I was miserable for 6 months. You know, I went to go get another job, and at this point I ain't worked for nobody in you know, 8 years. But I didn't forget how to work. So I went to work. I was working a lot of hours for a little bit of pay. And I'm like, man, something got to give. So I figured it out. I got the insurance back started. And I got back out there. But this time around, I had a plan. I wasn't going to fail. I had to, you know, do what I did before, but always make sure I have money to put back for an emergency, like an emergency stash. So we fast forward 2021 to now we're in 2026. It's just the moral of the story is, man, don't never give up. Even when people tell you, you know, you're doing too much, you're gonna put too much on you, you're gonna stress yourself out, man, you know your limits. You know what you can do. Push yourself to the max, push yourself to the limit. Push yourself beyond the expectation that everybody else think that you're supposed to have. I never folded. I never gave up. Plenty of times I wanted to, but I stayed in. Here we are. 6 years later. I own Dixon's Trucking. I own Dixon's Transportation Logistics. I own Dream Big Transport. I own DNR Automotive Services. I own Dixon's Towing. And then I still own Dixon Lawn Service. I just got it on hold right now. But that's 6 companies, 6 different businesses that I own. I paid off everything that I have. I have 12 semis. I have 6 trailers. I have 6 tow trucks. I have 2 roadside vehicles. My personal vehicles are paid off. I have over $2 million in assets. But I wouldn't have had none of that if I gave up. If I stopped fighting. If I was afraid to fail. Sometimes in life, man, you gotta just keep pushing no matter what nobody say. Let they hatred or negativity fuel you to go beyond where they think you're supposed to be. And I promise you, you do that, man, you can succeed in anything in life. Take it from me. I came from nothing. My family didn't have millions of dollars. I wasn't handed a golden spoon. I had to work. I had to work my ass off from the ground up. And I still have that mentality to today. I won't ask none of my employees to do nothing that I won't go do myself. Which is why I'm out here towing when I have other employees to tow too. Because we're in this together at the end of the day. It takes a team. I can't do it by myself, and I won't expect y'all to do it by yourself. So as long as you keep that mentality in life, I promise you, you'll exceed, you will go beyond, and you will excel anything in life. Again, I went from making nothing to barely making it in life to where I get whatever I want. I pay for whatever I want. I don't have to stress about what bill I'm gonna have to pay, or I ain't gonna be able to pay this bill. Everything's paid. I own everything, and now I can just live life. But I'll never stop going above and beyond. When I get this towing thing down and get everything in order, then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna start something else, because it's not about me anymore. It's about my kids. I have 6. I have to leave a legacy so they don't have to go through what I went through. 4 boys and 2 girls. The girls especially, I want to teach them how to be independent to where they don't have to depend on nobody. Teach them how to get their money. You know, how to stay focused, how to figure out what you want to do and go do it. But y'all stay on this journey with me. It's gonna be a long one. I'm gonna get footage, you know, I'll come and talk about different things. There's a lot, man. I know a lot. I learned a lot at an early age. For me to be 33, I promise you I know a lot. And I'm willing to share it for those who's willing to listen. If you want to know how I got started, I'll tell you how I got started. I'll show you the way I got started. If you want me to show you and teach you, mentor you, I can mentor you. But I won't teach nobody who's not willing to listen. You got to be willing to help yourself for me to want to help you. That's how I know you'll take me serious. So y'all leave comments, you know, reach out. Go follow me on TikTok, DNR Automotive Services, Instagram at Dixon's Towing, which I don't have much followers on there because I don't be on Instagram. Facebook, you know, website, DixonsTowing247.com. You can go and see what I've built. And then you'll see where I'm headed. And if you want to get on that road, then just let me know. And I'll help you get started. I'll show you how I get started. I'll show you how I got started. I'll show you how to file what you need to file. And then you can be on the same road I'm on. On the road to greatness. Independency. Entrepreneurship. Till next time, I'm out.